What's going on, guys? Welcome along to another video. Back at Riders. The sun is out and we are taking out this Harley Davidson FXLR ST. Tell me what you think straight away. Some choice fairing at the front, blacked out pretty much everything, and some bags. But with this bike, it's not how it looks, because she does look good. It's how it rides. Let's get into it. I've literally just pulled out of Riders. My first impressions, I'm 6'1", and the seat to peg height ratio, it feels strange. I'm not gonna lie, it feels strange. The seat's really low, and then the pegs feel really high. Like, look how high up my knees are. My knees are above my hip height. And then the handlebars feel quite far forward, quite outstretched. They do have a fair amount of rise on them already, but with Harley you can throw the catalogue at it, so I could bring these forward towards me a little bit if I needed. Oh, sorry about that transition, but when GoPros let you down, you need to stop and change the batteries. Oh, where are we without the technology? But that gives us a chance to look at this bike's seat height. 720mm, really low. I'm 6'1", and just look at the bend in those knees. No one's going to have dramas moving this bike around. Don't think about the weight, just think about the seat height. When it comes to Harleys, I always say there's the two types of Harleys. There's the model line like this, which has next to no tech. So looking at the technology, we do have LEDs all round. We've got this massive screen at the front, got a little screen at the bottom with your indicator, fuel lights, neutral, etc. You've got your high and low beam, cruise control, nice thing to see. Am I taking this bike out all day? Probably not, but they've got it on, and that's it. So like I say, the technology is low, and if not, you then get the other type of Harley with the big baggers with speakers at the front, massive screen that has map integration and everything else in between, but not this style. This one is your back to basics, strip down, get on it, ride it and enjoy it. For Harley and this type of ride, it's how it makes you feel. They're not worried about all the technology and everything else in between. The FXLR ST comes in a couple of different colour options. You can have this one, which is your blacked out variant. You've got like a creamy white, or you've got a blue option. And the base model for the ST is going to set you back £19,400. It's still a lot of money. Luckily, if you want the breakout, that's 25 grand. So there are Harleys with varying price ranges to get you into the Harley market if you don't want to be dropping 25, and this is certainly one of them. Hopefully we can get out of this town, get out of this 30-mile-an-hour zone, and have a little bit of fun on this bike. Between our legs is a fairly big 18.9 litre fuel tank. You're going to be looking at a range of 150, maybe up to 190 miles, which is a fairly decent amount of mileage for a tank. Through town, through these kind of slow roads, the bike actually handles a lot nicer than you think a Harley would. A lot of the weight is down low, and that really helps with the slow speed handling of this bike. The fueling is pretty good on this as well, for that kind of city riding. Second, third gear, on and off the throttle. There's no jerkiness, there's no jolting. It's really smooth as well. So you're not going to have any issues around town, because there are some bikes that's like, this does have this large fairing at the front. Looking at it from above, there's just a lot of gaps, but they have tried to incorporate some kind of channeling to get some fresh air onto you, the rider, try and keep you cool on a day like this. Personally, I'm not sure how I feel the look of it. It's quite bulbous, it's quite large at the front, and then the fairing is fixed. Yay, that's the horn. The fairing is fixed, and so the wind, it hits kind of just in line with my brow, so there is a lot of wind turbulence on the helmet, so it's not the best fairing for me, and because it's fixed as well, you can't change it. A little bit frustrating. You can't deny all Harleys sound good. It's got a really deep rumble, but add any aftermarket exhaust to these and they just sound so much better. As with pretty much all Harleys, it is a big boy. It is heavy. 327 kilos. Yikes. Like I said, with that low seat height, you are going to be able to control it at low speeds or at stationary, and then when you're riding, that big weight kind of disappears. I like it with Harleys, they have to put the ground, well, no, they don't have to, but they put the ground clearance and the lean angle in. So ground clearance is 150 mil and lean angle was only 30 degrees left and right. Trust me, that's important, because when I have my Harley, my Fatbob, when I go around the corners on some of the roundabouts, not only would I be scraping pegs, but I've caught my foot and I've yanked my foot off, which really hurt my knee. I thought I damaged my knee. You just got to be mindful, got to be careful. You can't be throwing these bikes into corners like any other bike. Just enjoy this bike, that's what it's for. Pull over here, have a quick walk around and do a little sound test. One thing I don't like, the side stand, is the rear part of the peg kind of gets in the way. So you got to try and keep it forward with Harleys and then kind of let the weight take into it. It's quite hard to do that with the peg in the way. I really like the rims on this, they're like a bronze colour. Just kind of fit the bike and Harley's colouring, their like badge, really nicely. This is all blacked out, and to me this is how I like it. I know Harley either do blacked out or chrome everything. The breakout was chromed galore, and this thing is pretty much black throughout. This is the fairing from the front. Like I said, these are the kind of inlets for the wind, a bit of fresh air. Side mounted air filter. This can get caught in your shin, so it's just something to be mindful of. If that does get in the way and it annoys you, then you can just get a flat kind of mounted one there. Saddlebags are included on the ST model. Really simple to use. Key to unlock, and then use those little levers on the side just to open up. Quick sound test then. Yeah, on camera they don't sound that great, but when you're on the bike they do sound lovely. Gets it in aftermarket, they sound even better. Anything over kind of 40-45 miles an hour and the wind is just about here, so can definitely get a little bit irritating. Something to be mindful of if you're thinking about getting this and doing any form of touring or long distance riding. I am finding this suspension a little bit hard. Kind of every bump we go over, it's quite aggressive. But I am no skinny chicken. Pushing 115 kilos, I'll test any suspension that's around. By test, I mean I'll put any suspension to the test with my weight. The pickup on the throttle is nice. Like I said, the fuel in at low speed is really good, and then because of that torque, that's got that grunt just to get you moving when you want to. I'm still not sold on this riding position, kind of bum down, knees up. That's the way I like to ride. Not sold on it, that's for sure. Like I said, handlebars, they do feel a little bit outstretched for me, so I'd have to bring them a little bit closer. The seat in this is very comfortable. You can definitely feel the squidginess of the padding. Sometimes I do find that on certain bikes, the seats aren't good enough. It's like they've done it purposely to then sell you a comfort seat later on. Fuck yeah. That's where the torque comes in handy. Easy overtake. So at these higher revs, I am finding there's quite a few vibrations coming through the pegs. A little bit through the handlebar, but more so through the pegs themselves. Now I'm going to assume you can hear the amount of wind that's hitting the helmet coming through the mic. There is a lot, and you do get the vibrations on the top of the helmet as well. But it handles nicely through this flowing section. Just got to remember the ground clearance. Slow speeds, corners, really easy. There's a big turning circle with this bike. When I say big, I don't mean it's wide, I mean it's the handlebars turn a lot, so therefore it's quite a tight turning circle. That's what I should say. I'm going to put it out there and say this style of Harley, as in the seating, the ergonomics of it, just isn't for me. But the beautiful thing with Harley is they've got a large selection, and I intend to make my way through them, and I will be doing reviews on all of them. If you found this quick ride and review helpful, please make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, hit the subscribe button. Plenty more Harleys and Ducatis coming from riders. Review videos are coming weekly. And until the next one, ride safe.